learning. So, I want to give the floor to you, Maria, and please introduce yourself to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And good evening, everybody. Yes, my name is Maria Cuevas. I am your dedicated wholesaler here at Crump. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And while I do that, I want to share a little bit about myself. So I have been in the life insurance industry for the past 27 and a half years now. All my career has been in brokerage, meaning that I have always have to juggle multiple carriers all at once, multiple products. I've been a case manager I did case management for over 8.5 years. I've done contract licensing, I've done commission. I was part of a sales desk where I run illustrations for all of the carriers. So I feel I bring a pretty much well-rounded information that I can share with you and be able to help you succeed. There's going to be a lot of information in this 45, 50-minute presentation that I'm going to share with you. But if the one thing that I truly want all of you to take away from this presentation is that you have a partner here at Crump, a partner that you can lean on to elevate your practice. I've done many of these presentations with different teams across my territory. And, I've learned that the mission of WFG and WSB is no families left behind. And I feel with the partnership you have here at Crump, you can definitely be sure that will be able to service and protect many, many families. We'll go ahead and get started here. I do want to share with you first your team. This is your Crump team. That toll-free number and that email address gets you to the WFG team here at Crump. Every individual that is behind that team works only with WFG. They know the culture, they know the products and carriers that you can write. The team, there's 4 wholesalers, and it's broken down throughout the country. I am your dedicated wholesaler, and my territory is Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, and Hawaii. But again, the entire team is here to be able to assist you. I want to share with you a few of the carriers that you have available through Crump. So Crump is your strategic partner for life insurance, long-term care, and disability insurance products. Again, these are just a few of the carriers. You will have over 15 companies that you can tap into Crump to find solutions for your client. As you can see, some of them are well-known names. All of the companies are highly rated, A or A+. Crump does not work with anybody that is low-rated carriers. I want to start with a quick overview of the life products that you have through Crump. So, of course, you have your term products, traditional 10, 15, 20, 30-year term. I've been recently getting calls for return of premium. So know that you have a return of premium term option through Crump. And there is also an opportunity for a simplified issue term as well. Under the Universal Life chassis, you have both individual and survivorship products, current assumption Universal Life, index Universal Life, and of course your guaranteed Universal Life policies. For those of you who are in the estate planning market, you have very competitive second to die or survivorship policies. Remember, keep in mind that sunset rule that is coming up. So if any of you are working with those higher net worth individuals, your partners here at Crump can help you with those cases as well. If any of you are securities licensed, you will have access to variable products, both individual and survivorship. Under the whole life chassis, that's where you'll find your participating and non-participating whole life policies. There you'll also find the final expense, those smaller death benefit burial type plans, simplified issue options, as well as guarantee issue. Many of you might know us because of Gerber. You still have Gerber under Crump, that guarantee issue product. I want to start with a few of the carriers and go over some of the products as well with you. We'll start with the term carriers. Corbridge. Many of you might remember or maybe even wrote cases with American General or AIG. If many of you have done or remember AIG, American General, well, now they have co-branded themselves as Corebridge. They still have the same products, and one of the biggest differentiators, and they are unique in the industry, is their select the term. What that means is that there are multiple level years that the client can choose from. Remember, traditionally we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-year term. But with select the term, you can actually do a 17-year term. So for example, you're meeting with the client, you're talking about mortgage protection, and they say, well, I only have 17 years to go on my mortgage. So traditionally, you will either do a 15-year term or a 20-year term. But with select the term, you can actually do a 17-year term. That's where that select the term comes in. If you have clients that are looking for longer level term periods, Corebridge can go up to 35 years. And if you want something even longer, we can look at Banner. Banner has a 40-year term available. One of the differentiators with Banner is the ability to stack term rider policies into a base policy. So this is a way to help reduce the cost of a policies that a client might be wanting to do multiple policies. We can bundle them in one single policy. Another way that I've been seeing this stack of term policies is creating or mimicking a decreasing term. We do not have a true decreasing term product, but we can mimic one by creating the stacking of term policies within one base policy. And of course, as the level terms start to come up due, then the premiums will start reducing as well. So a way to overall save client premiums when they're trying to do multiple term policies. The other carrier that we're seeing a lot of buzz is North American. We're seeing them a lot because they have built-in living benefit riders, chronic, critical, and terminal illness. It is not a separate product. You don't need to select the riders on an application. They are automatically available on their term policies. And they're also available on their permanent policy. Those of us who live in California or do business in California, please take note that on their term product, the critical illness rider is not available. But if your client purchased a term policy and then converts it into a permanent policy, the critical illness rider will be available on the permanent product. It's California. We have some interesting people in our insurance department, so I don't know why they approved it on the permanent and not on the term. But the good thing is that there's a conversion option that will allow the client to then have the critical illness on a permanent policy. Now, the other carrier that we're hearing a lot of buzz within the WFG team is National Life Group. It seemed that many agents weren't aware that you have access to National Life Group through Crump. I personally feel that they have the strongest living benefit riders available within the industry. Just like North American, those living benefits are built in. Again, not a separate product. You don't need to select them on the application. They are automatic, both under both on their term policies and their permanent policies. They have chronic illness, critical injury, as well as an Alzheimer's disease rider. So very, very competitive. And one thing that I want to share with all of you is to think of selling term on value. Traditional term, it's a use it or lose it, right? If the client doesn't pass away within that term period, those premiums in a way are lost. Having carriers that provide living benefits to your clients, we know every day life happens. I've been doing some research and I found that 6 in 10 Americans live with a chronic illness. 6 in 10, that is a large number. 4 in 10 Americans develop some kind of cancer in their lifetime. 4 in 10. That, it's not that high, but I'm pretty sure it'll get up there. And every 4 seconds, an individual is having a stroke. And they're saying that 6.7 million individuals here in the United States are estimated to be living with Alzheimer's or dementia. Those are huge numbers. Those are, um, events that happen every day, and we need to make sure that we have our clients protected for those unexpected events. And with having policies like North American and LIPA Southwest, who have these built-in living benefit riders, you're providing your client a whole lot more value for that premium. And as you can see, not very expensive. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks a day, they can get coverage, not expensive. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention regarding term is the conversion options. With conversion, there is no medical underwriting. So when you purchase a term and you convert into a permanent policy, there is no medical underwriting. I want to share with everybody my personal story, which I feel plays a big part with conversion. So in April of 2018, I purchased a term policy, very excited because I ended up getting super preferred rates. Got it in force, good to go. July of 2018, I go into my well woman exam and get the news that I have breast cancer. So there goes my super preferred, right? Today, I cannot go in, submit an application and get super preferred because of my cancer history. At best, I might be able to get standard. But remember, I locked in my super preferred in April. Now I can go into the carrier, convert into a permanent policy, and automatically get super preferred. So the point of me sharing my personal story with you is to make sure that your clients are aware that we need to make sure we're locking these preferred and super preferred classifications. To be honest with you, I was not expecting that news to be told to me that July. There's no family history. I, today still eat healthy. I'm at the gym 5-6 days a week. Was not, again, life happens and we need to be prepared. And you as agents have the products at your fingertips through Crump to be able to provide that protection to your clients. And on top of that, it might even be an easy, simple process if many of them can qualify for accelerated underwriting programs. I'll show you a list of those options. I qualified for the accelerated underwriting program with the carrier that I purchased my policy with, and I didn't have to do an exam and lab work. So again, there should be no excuse for any individual out there, especially if they're healthy, not to have some kind of coverage. It's inexpensive. If their income doesn't give them the opportunity to do a permanent policy right now, that's okay. Let's put in force a term policy at a low cost. And when their income starts increasing in the future, let's start looking at conversion options. And again, let's make sure we're locking in that super preferred underwriting classifications. It is important. The other product line you have available through Crump, of course, is the Index Universal Life. I want to talk about two options. The first one that you see here is the max accumulation scenarios. When you're designing retirement planning options, I like to focus these types of products to clients that I like to call Henrys, high earners, not rich yet. These individuals are making six figures. If they have a 401k at their job, they probably already maxed out that contribution. This year, the maximum contribution for an IRA is $7,000. An individual making six figures can easily max out that IRA as well. So now let's find another vehicle to be able to provide tax-free income into your client's pocket. I personally feel that Uncle Sam has enough money. Uncle Sam does not know how to manage money. He is trillions in debt, so why give him more money, right? Let's put more tax-free income into our client's pockets. And these are the products and vehicles that will help you provide that for them. Currently, our number one carrier is Allianz. They have an underwriting upgrade program. What this means is if your client is approved at standard or preferred, they're automatically issued a super preferred classification. So that can make a huge difference in that cash accumulation that will build up for retirement income. They are also the only ones in the industry who have an index lock feature that allows the client to lock a specific interest rate within the policy anniversary, again, to give them that opportunity to build more cash and have that tax-free income in their pocket. Our second carrier that we're seeing a lot of is Life of Southwest. I mentioned their living benefits. The same living benefits, the chronic illness, critical injury, and Alzheimer's is also available on their permanent index IUL products. So you're adding additional benefits to them with that policy. There's also an option to add a lifetime income benefit rider. They also are very strong with foreign nationals. I'll talk about foreign nationals in a little bit, but again, both Allianz and Life of Southwest, very strong with target premiums as well. So when you are designing these max funded, max cash value for retirement income scenarios, please make sure you're reaching out to your team here at Crump to run scenarios and illustrations for you to compare and make sure you're providing your clients with the best possible solution. But let's say you have clients that are more concerned with protection, not so much the need for cash value and income in the future. Well, that's okay. You have protection products at Crump as well. Currently, we're seeing North American and Securian be very strong with their protection IUL product. We can actually guarantee the death benefit for life on those protection IUL policies. In this particular scenario, again, we have the 45-year-old gentleman, preferred best. He's getting $500,000 of death benefit. He's only paying premiums for 20 years, and we are going to guarantee that $500,000 death benefit for life. So again, you have solutions not just for max accumulation, but also for protection. So if you have any need or need to get illustrations, the Crump sales team can run those for you. I talked about the living benefits with North American and Life of Southwest. I want to bring to your attention Mutual of Omaha. The reason why I want to add Mutual of Omaha in here today, just like North American and Life of Southwest, they automatically have built-in living benefit riders. The biggest difference is that with Mutual of Omaha, we can have those living benefits all the way to a table 8. That's a pretty high substandard classification. With many carriers, like North American and Life of Southwest, the living benefits are only available up to a table 4. So where I've seen Mutual of Omaha come into play is if you submitted an application for an IUL with a long-term care rider and the long-term care rider gets declined. I've seen some of those cases come to Mutual of Omaha and be able to provide the clients with a chronic illness rider. Yes, it's not a true long-term care rider, but it's providing a living benefit, something better than nothing. So if you've had cases in the past where a long-term care rider has been declined, reach out to the team, see if there's an opportunity to provide them with some kind of living benefit with Mutual of Omaha. Staying in the long-term care rider concept, with Crump, you have 2 options for long-term care riders on individual permanent policies. You have Mutual of Omaha and John Hancock. For those of us in California or those that write business in California, please make note that the long-term care rider with Mutual of Omaha is not available. In California, the only option we have is John Hancock. But there is options for you here through Crump as well. And of course, guarantee issue product, Gerber. Many of you probably already are familiar with Gerber. You have access through them through Crump. This is a true guarantee issue policy. There's no underwriting, no exam, no lab work, no medical interviews. The client completes the application, submits a form of payment, and the policy is issued. It is issue ages 50 to 80, and the maximum death benefit is $25,000. If the individual or the insured passes away within the first 24 months, the beneficiaries will receive return of premium plus 10%. If it's going to be your first application, they do require it to be a paper application, but subsequent applications can be submitted electronically. There is no true illustration software for this particular product, but you can download the Gerber app onto your phone, or you can have the Crump sales team send you the rate card. Here's a sample of one of the rate cards that would be available. But again, with all the carriers you have under Crump, plus the carriers you have with your direct partners, I personally feel that you can cover, I would say 99% of the individuals that you talk to. You know, that 1% are going to be those individuals that are younger than 50, where I do not have a guarantee issue product. So a lot of additional opportunities for you through Crump to be able to service the clients that you talk with. So you have all these products, all these carriers. You know, we can run around and quote everybody super preferred because, of course, we're all super preferred. But in reality, we're not. So it is very, very important that we do preliminary or field underwriting, especially if you know that there's medical impairments within your client's situation. There's two ways to be able to do field underwriting through Crump. First is our time saver. Our time saver is a true informal application. The client does need to sign 3 HIPAA forms. There's a few questions on the application. We do need to get their doctor's contact information. Once we get the paperwork back, Crump will take care of ordering all the required medical records. Once those records are received, they are reviewed by our internal underwriting team and then shopped to the different companies you have through Crump. And I want to share with you a case that I worked on. And a couple of reasons why I want to share this with you is because, one, I want you to understand that not all the companies will see medical impairments the same. Second, the power of you having Crump in your back pocket to be able to pivot through multiple companies all in one spot. So with this particular case that I worked on 2 years ago, at that time, the gentleman was 58 years old. He was looking for $2 million of death benefit, and he had a couple of medical impairments. It fit the criteria for the time saver because it was over $1 million. He completed the time saver, signed the HIPAA forms. Crump then ordered medical records from his personal doctor and 2 specialists. The medical records were reviewed by my underwriter, and she decided to send the case to 5 different companies. Keep in mind, all 5 companies had the exact same medical information. Nobody had more, nobody had less. So once we shopped it, 3 companies said, don't worry to submit anything formal, he's going to be a decline. Another one came back, we'll consider him, but he's going to be around a table D. And another one came back saying, we'll consider him, and we're looking at a possible standard. So we went from 3 declines to a standard. So again, keep in mind that when you have a decline case, don't assume or think that all the companies will decline your client. Again, you have a partner, you have a team here at Crump that we can do the field underwriting, the underwriting in the background before having to submit a formal application to see if any of the multiple carriers you have through Crump can be an option for your client. But let's say that you are working with clients that death benefit is below $1 million. Well, that's not a problem. We have multiple medical questionnaires available to you on the Crump website. Here is a sample of the diabetes questionnaire. These single-page questionnaires do not need to be signed by your clients, so you can take all the information over the phone. And I always tell the agents, please gather as much information as possible, because the more information you provide us, the better the assessment my underwriting team can provide to you back. Being able to do field underwriting We avoid MIB hits. Remember that gentleman that I worked on 2 years ago? If we would have submitted those 5 formal applications, we would have had those 3 decline on his MIB, which would have affected future applications. It also helps speed up the case in underwriting. It also will avoid you having to do a second sale. Because, for example, let's say you quote the client at preferred and it's $100. They go through underwriting, they get a table 4. Now we're looking at a $400 premium. Now you're going to have to go back and sell that $400 premium. But if we do preliminary underwriting up front and we run illustrations up front, the client can then be prepared financially and mentally for that $400 premium. So please make sure you're taking advantage of the resources you have at Crump to be able to, again, provide the best possible solution for your client. I mentioned earlier the accelerated underwriting programs that we have. You have several companies through Crump that offer accelerated underwriting programs. With many of these companies, we can go up to $3 million of death benefit and up to age 60 with possibly no exam and no lab work. And I've seen older 50-year-olds qualify for these accelerated underwriting programs. So again, there should be no excuses from your clients. Oh, I'm healthy. Why do I need to take an exam? I don't have time to see an examiner. Well, if they're truly healthy, then there should be no excuse because there's several different underwriting or accelerated underwriting programs that are available for them. I mentioned earlier foreign nationals, and I mentioned Life of Southwest is one of the very competitive with the foreign national market. They are one of 3 carriers that we see here at Crump that are very, very competitive with foreign nationals. So again, it's National Life Group, Prudential, and John Hancock. So there are 2 types of foreign nationals that I want to share with you. The first ones are those individuals who reside or live in the United States. I've known individuals who have been here for 10, 15, 20 years, but have never gotten around to become U.S. citizens or to get a green card. As long as those individuals have an active ITIN number or an active visa, they can get coverage. Both permanent and term products would be available. Normal underwriting requirements will be needed. I have worked on several cases where they've qualified for the accelerated underwriting programs. So if you know individuals that are under the DACA certification, they can get coverage. Feel free to reach out to the team if you have any questions on those types of individuals. But, don't need to leave them on the sidelines. You will be able to help them. The other individuals or the other type of foreign nationals will be those individuals who do not live in the United States, but they come to the United States for a specific short period of time. The carriers require the clients to be in the States for a minimum of 15 days in the past 12 months. They do have to have financial ties in the United States. Financial ties can be real estate, a business, being married to a U.S. citizen, or some type of brokerage account. According to the U.S. Census, 14% of the U.S. population are foreign-born or non-citizen. U.S. agents, this represents a huge significance for life insurance opportunity sales, because many of these foreign nationals, what they're looking for is the safety and security that the U.S. insurance companies have. And these companies, again, you have them in your back pocket through Crump. If any of you are connected with real estate agents that are targeting the Chinese national market or the Mexican national market, you have a gold mine. You have to keep in mind with foreign nationals, their exemption is only $60,000. An individual who purchases a home here in the United States, I live in California. There's really nothing that's less than $800,000. So they're going to have a huge tax consequence. So by providing them with the ability to have a life insurance policy to cover that estate tax that will be coming up, it's a great way for you to be able to provide that, again, that service. So again, if you're connecting with real estate agents, ask if they're within, do business with Chinese nationals or Mexican nationals, you can help them. And again, Crump is here. There is an underwriting questionnaire that you can complete for these type of individuals, and we can guide you to see what best carrier and product will be best for them. Now, long-term care, that's the other product line you have available through Crump. For those of us in California, or those of us who do business in California, I am really, really hoping that you're all having the long-term care conversation with your clients, and as well as all the other states as well. It's important that long-term care is talked about and discussed. At this point, there's no need for you to be asking about products or services. The question you need to start asking your clients is, what does your long-term care plan look like? That's it. Ask the question, have your clients let you know what their needs, their wants are. Once you gather that information, reach out to the Crump team, and together we'll find solutions for you. I know next Monday, my counterpart, Susan Whelan, will get more into the details of long-term care. So this is going to be a very top high-level overview for you. But again, main point is start asking the question, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what does your long-term care plan look like? Of course, it's an expensive event. If you go into genworth.com, you can actually select the city where your client lives, and it'll show you what the cost is for a private nursing home, for home health care. Hey, at the end of the day, it's going to be expensive. Now we're going to have to figure out, well, how are we going to pay for this expense? As clients and you as agents, you probably have helped your clients create their assets, build that wealth. If a long-term care need arises, those assets, they're going to deteriorate really quickly. There might be liquidity issues. If somebody is heavy in real estate, it's going to take a while to liquidate those assets. Market timing, will the funds be there? Will the market be, positive in order for us to have that income to pay for those events? Tax liabilities, lots to think about in terms of where are we going to get the money to pay for a long-term care need. Well, what we need to do is start looking at long-term care policies and put that burden into an insurance company. You have two types of long-term care through Crump. Traditional long-term care, use it or lose it, or your linked benefit products. I know last week you had a presentation on One America, so I won't go into it. But again, One America at the moment is our #1 hybrid product, very competitive, unlimited long-term care pool. So make sure you're looking into these types of products. I wanted to put Securian on the slide here. I know it says it's not available in California, but not to worry. It's expected to be approved in July. And the biggest difference with Securian is that the clients will be able to use the long-term care funds outside of the United States. So that is definitely a game changer. And I know Susan next week will touch a little bit more on that. The team will also be sending out email invitations for training on Securian. So please make sure you're registering for those that webinar. Even if you don't make it, please make sure you register, because the team will then send you the playback for that. The other product line you have available through Crump is disability income insurance. I personally don't like calling it disability income. Sometimes the clients just, it just has a bad connotation. I like to call it paycheck protection, because that's truly what we're doing. We are protecting our clients' income. As we know, one of our clients' biggest assets is their income. If there is a disability and they are not able to work, the mortgage still needs to be paid. The bank isn't going to say, oh, you're disabled, that's okay, don't pay us for the next 10 months. No, the mortgage will need to be paid. Credit cards are still going to be due. Utility bills will still need to be paid. So we need to find a way to protect that paycheck for your client. And again, pennies on the dollar, depending on how much you want to protect, it can be very, very inexpensive. and different occupation, a range of occupations that you can tap into. Your blue collars, plumbers, the individuals that come into your yard every weekend, nail technicians, our hairdressers, our barbers. Again, just in a range of different occupations that you can tap into. Your white collar, your surgeons, your nurses, your dentists, doctors, individuals that sit behind a desk, on a computer. We all need to protect our paychecks. If any of you are in the entertainment or sports industry, you have solutions through Crump as well. Very different, unique niche products. We have provided protection for NFL players, for baseball players, basketball players. We even have several of the daytime TV hosts that we've insured here at Crump through some of these Lloyd's of London policies. We have singers, actors. So again, if you are in those specialty industries, you have solutions through Crump. So make sure you're reaching out to the team for assistance on that. So you have all these products, all these carriers. Well, what do I do? How do I access them? Well, Crump created a personalized designated website for all of you, just for WFG. You access the website through mywfg.com. There is no second sign-on as long as you go in through mywfg.com. You go through menu, recruiting and selling, products and providers, and under sales resources, you will find the link for Crump. I want to go through a few of the links that are on the homepage of the website that I feel are very important for you to be familiar with. I always get the question, Maria, can I run my own quotes? And the answer is yes, you may run your own quotes. When you're running your term quotes, you're going to select the link Vital Quotes. It is a very user-friendly platform. You put in the client's information, you click next, and in one single spreadsheet, you'll get all the available level terms you want to see, as well as multiple different carriers based on the inputs that you submitted. So very user-friendly, very easy, and again, in one single spreadsheet, all the available carriers. Now, if you want to run your own permanent illustrations, like your index IUL, your current assumptions, your guaranteed universal life, you will click on self-serve illustration. Very user-friendly platform. If any of you are interested, please send me an email and I can send you a quick 5-minute tutorial on how to use that platform. Similar to the term, once you've done the inputting of the information, the system will then generate a spreadsheet of all the available carriers for you. And on top of that, it even gives you a PDF of the full illustration. So right then and there, you can go through the entire illustration with your client. If you need to make any changes, you can go back into the input pages and redo the illustration. So very easy. And again, I have a 5-minute tutorial. If anybody's interested, I can send you that quick video for that. But let's say that you don't have the time or you just don't want to run your own illustrations. That's okay. I've been saying all along, you have a partner, you have a team here at Crump that can run those illustrations for you. 3 ways to request illustrations. 1 is through the online link, illustration request. 2, pick up the phone and give us a call. Or 3, send us an email. I always remind the agents, please make sure you provide a date of birth, because many of the insurance companies are age nearest. So 6 months before our birthday, we're a year older. So if we have the date of birth, my team will be able to provide you the correct insurance age on that illustration. Also, please let us know as much detail on the design you're looking for, so then that way, again, you'll get the proper illustration. What else? Oh, my team sends you the top 3 carriers based on the criteria that you request. If you want to see more than 3, let us know. If you want to see a specific carrier, let us know as well. But again, the team is here to provide you with those illustrations that you might need. The other link that is very important is the Get Contracted link. I do want to make it clear that Crump is not an insurance company. So you do not need to get appointed with Crump. In reality, you don't even have to get set up with Crump. You don't have to do anything to be set up with Crump. Once you're properly set up with WFG, we get the information from WFG. Every day, WFG sends us a feed with all of your contact information every single day. So your file is automatically updated or created into my database. So with Crump, you do not need to do anything. What you do need to do is get appointed with the insurance companies under the Crump umbrella. And you will do that through the Get Contracted link. All of the carriers are on that platform with the exception of National Life Group. If any of you are interested in getting appointed with National Life Group, please send me an email and I will have my contracting team send you the required link. Again, all the other companies will be under the Get Contracted link. If any of you have used SureLC in the past, it is the exact same platform, and you'll see that it is very user-friendly. So now, clients' applications, what do? How do you submit them? Well, now your clients' applications can be submitted electronically through the Crump website under the Start New App link. I do want to make it a point, and it's a very important point. Please make sure that any application under the Crump carriers is submitted to Crump directly. Please do not send it to the carrier directly. It's going to be electronic. The clients can do e-signature, so it should be no problem, smooth, as long as you're using the Start New App link on the Crump website. If for whatever reason you need to do a paper application, I mentioned earlier with Gerber, if it's your first application, it has to be a paper application with wet signature. If that is the case where you need to print an application for wet signature, that's perfectly fine. What you're going to do is use the upload document link on the Crump website to submit those paper applications. Please do not email them to me. Please do not email them to the email address for the team or some old email address you have for Crump. Please do not fax it to some old fax number you have for Crump. Make sure you're using the upload document link to submit any type of paper application. And the other reason why it is important for you to submit the applications directly to Crump is because we, just like your direct partners, participate in the commission advancement. So when the application is received in good order at Crump, we then release the 40% submission advancement. So again, very important that applications are submitted to Crump directly, not to the carriers. The other team that I want to bring to your attention is my advanced marketing team. I know I might be biased, but I feel that this is one of the strongest advanced marketing team in the industry, including some of the insurance companies out there. The team is made up of 6 directors. I have a couple of JDs. Just as a side note, they do not practice law or give any legal advice. But the beauty of having this team in your back pocket is that we do not have to be knowledgeable or experts on any of these concepts, because you have the team here at Crump that are the experts for you. They're up to date on business law, tax law, estate planning law. So if you're working with business owners and you're talking about succession planning or deferred comp or buy-sells, key man coverage, and you're just not fully comfortable, that's okay. We can arm you with questions to ask your client. We can send you with the fact finder. Once we gather some information, we can even get my directors on the phone with your client. A few months ago, I was on the phone with the WFG agent, her client, and my advanced marketing director. And we were talking about estate planning, the importance of looking at estate planning, the sunset rule that is going to happen in 2026. The gentleman is now going to be talking to his attorney to put a trust together and then move forward eventually in the next few months looking at the life insurance. So again, the point is you do not need to be the experts on these advanced marketing concepts because you have a partner here at Crump. And that particular WFG agent that I mentioned, she didn't introduce us as Crump. She introduced us as her partner, part of her team. And that's what I mentioned in the very beginning. If you don't take anything out of this meeting, the one thing I do want you all to know and remember is that Crump is your partner. Make sure you're taking advantage of the resources that you have at Crump to be able to elevate your practice. Here is again the contact information for your team. You have my contact information as well, so feel free to reach out. I think we might have some time for some questions if there's any. I would love to be here for any questions. I know it was a lot. I know.
Yeah, Maria, thank you for the great training. Me personally, I've learned a lot. But of course, we want to open to everyone who has questions. Please, Ricky, go ahead. Ricky, do you have a question? None? I thought you unmute, but yeah, I think this is a time for us to ask questions to Maria. I know we heard a lot, and of course, we don't expect to remember everything, but I know we covered everything basically from term, IUL, long-term care, and the process. But I think this will be a helpful for us.
Yeah, and if questions come up next week, in a month from now, I'm here. Reach out. I also do want to say I am going to be in Las Vegas. The entire team will be there. We'll have an underwriter. My long-term care wholesaler will be there. So please make sure you stop by, say hello. I would love to meet all of you in person and start building this partnership, this relationship.
Yes, thank you, Maria. But we have Atife who has a question. Go ahead, Atife.
Sure.
Yeah, my question is, you mentioned about the paycheck protection coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what if the person was on a workman's comp? Can she access that protection?
If they're currently on workman's comp, no. But let's say if they get a standalone disability policy, it's not going to affect any type of workman's comp policy that they might have access to or at work or the state. So it's a separate standalone policy. But if they're currently on some kind of disability, they're not going to qualify. It has to be done before they have some kind of disability.
All right. Thank
So
you.
it's a great supplement.
Mm-hmm. But what if, like, she already had that policy in force? Can she claim that she's getting the workman's comp and then she had that approved before that happened? Can she access that also at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
So they will be able to access, yes. So again, it's like a supplemental to what they can get from something else that they have, whether it's work, state, workers' comp.
I have a question, Maria. What if we have a client who got declined from Transamerica or Nationwide? Can we go to Crump and look for any other options?
Yes. I always recommend everybody to use the underwriting questionnaires because we do need to know details as to why it was declined. I do want to make sure everybody is aware that if we do move forward with one of our carriers, the client will need to go through underwriting. Nationwide, Transamerica, and Pac Life, they do not share the exam. They do not share medical records. They do not share lab works. So we have to start from scratch. If you as an agent have the ability to get a copy of the lab slip or the exam itself, then that will help. Otherwise, the client will have to get a new exam, new lab work, and yes, we have to go through medical records. But again, it's important that you use those questionnaires because in that way, my underwriters have something to be able to review and provide you with an assessment.
Awesome.
And like I mentioned with the client that I worked on 2 years ago, remember it was 5 different carriers, 3 of them declined them and 1 of them said standard. So again, keep in mind that not all carriers are going to see the same medical impairments differently. So yes, please, by all means, if you have a decline case, let us review it here at Crump using the questionnaires, using the time saver so we can see if there's opportunities here at Crump as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Who else? Please ask questions. We have 6 more minutes. I think everybody's overwhelmed from the training.
Yeah. Well, just to bring something to, we're talking a little bit about underwriting. If you have individuals who use tobacco products, with the exception of cigarettes, so an individual who smokes cigars, pipes, chews nicotine gums, uses the patches, Prudential can give them non-smoker rates. So you can have a client that smokes a cigar a day for 10, 20, 30 years, and they can still get non-tobacco rates. The best that they can qualify for is Standard Plus, non-tobacco, but it can make a huge difference because once we get into that smoker rate classification, those premiums double. So again, if you have those individuals that use tobacco, with the exception of, again, cigarettes and the vapes, those two are the ones that do not qualify under that. They can get non-tobacco rates. Staying within the tobacco user as well, John Hancock has what they call a quit smoking incentive program on their permanent policies. So what this program does is it allows the client to pay non-smoker rates for the first 3 years of the policy in hopes that they stop smoking. And this will cover all tobacco products. If they do stop smoking within that 2-year period, on the 4th year and going forward, they will be able to keep the non-smoker rate. They do have to complete lab at that time to confirm that they're non-smokers. If they continue to be smokers, then in the 4th year, it'll jump up to the smoker rate. But it's a great opportunity for those individuals who are on the fence. Well, I think I'm going to quit. I might quit. I'm trying to quit. This can be a great way to give them that extra incentive to truly quit, get that lower premium the first 3 years, and hopefully keep that tobacco-free classification going. And again, the Crump sales team can run those illustrations for you. Speaking of John Hancock, they are very, very strong with diabetics. So if you have any clients that are diabetics, we see John Hancock and Prudential be very competitive. So make sure you reach out. Again, the diabetes questionnaire on the Crump website is very important. Again, A1C is going to be important. Medication is going to be important. So again, the more detail you give us, the better the assessment we can give you. So lots of different opportunities through Crump.
Awesome. I think that will be our next company to learn is John Hancock. But yeah, any other questions?
Hey, Marie, I got a question.
Go ahead, Ray.
How about for we've been noticing quite a few clients that they're getting declined with sleep apnea.
So sleep apnea is a bit tough because they have to take into consideration, are they using a CPAP machine and are they using it consistently? Are they following the doctor's guidelines? It's a hit and miss. I know I've seen John Hancock be a little bit more better for those type of clients, but again, it's all going to depend on that CPAP machine and any sleep studies that they've done.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And there is a questionnaire on the website. So if you do have a client, get that questionnaire completed.
Perfect.
Yep.
Laura, do you have a question?
Yes. How fast can we get appointed?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot to mention that on the appointments. Okay, so with many of the carriers and many of the states, it is a just-in-time appointment, meaning that your appointment is going to be processed when the application is received. So I usually tell the agents, please don't go right now and submit 10 requests because they're just going to sit there. I have agents call me at least once a week. It's like, Maria, I submitted the appointment. I need to send my application, but I'm not appointed. And my question is, well, did you send me the app? Because again, specifically in California and many of the other states, it's a just-in-time process. And you do not need to be appointed to get illustrations or submit the applications. I know New York is a pre-appointment state. So again, if you have questions on the state that you're in, reach out to the contracting team. That toll-free number, there's a prompt for the contracting team. They can let you know if your state is a pre-appointment or just in
Okay.
time. But the majority of the states are just in time. So not to worry. Thank you for the
Thank you
question.
so much.
Of course. Thank you.
And I think thanks team, and I think the easiest way for us to to get something or illustrations for our client is not to remember everything right now, but one thing that we have to remember is Maria and the phone number of Crump,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah, and that's true. I always tell the agents, don't worry about the products and the niches and what this one does, what that one does. What I give you as homework or what I expect you to do is to get to know your client, get to know their needs, their concerns, and as a team, we'll find solutions because as you saw, there's many carriers, and there's going to be that one specific carrier that will be a perfect fit for underwriting and for cost for your client. So all of you are super armed with a ton of companies, so there should be no excuse of putting a client on the side or not being able to help a client. Again, no family left behind with Crump and your direct carriers. Like I said earlier, I think 99 of the clients you will be able to protect.
awesome. Thanks for your time, Maria. And I
Of
have
course.
my favorite insurance company now is the Lloyd's Insurance.
Yes, they are very interesting. So definitely take advantage of those specialty products.
Awesome. And thanks for your time. But just 1 minute announcement just for before we close for all of us is the important dates. Today is July 1st. Tomorrow will be the deadline to change our registration online tickets, only tickets. And then from our meeting this morning, it's easy for us to change the name to guests if we don't have a replacement name yet who's going with us to convention. And so a lot of dates, please do the screenshot. And for next week, we will have Susan Weiland to train us about long-term care products. Okay, that will be for our next week training. And then Maria, we will talk again which company will pick for the next Monday.
Yes. Yep, we can discuss that.
And I think that's it for tonight. Thanks everyone, and see you again next Monday. Bye.